The soul and its shape are one of the most fundamental aspects of life in Geoma, and one of the least well understood. Despite its ephemeral nature, those who know where to look can see, feel, and even measure a man's soul. The body and the soul mirror each other, always trying to maintain an equilibrium. A larger body means there is more of the soul. A Koramite has more soul clay than an Alayan, and a Harkoresh has more than either. A dragon's soul, then, is larger than all three combined, and it is a terrible, volatile thing. The shape of the soul is dictated by the body. The shape of the body is dictated by the soul. One cannot exist without the other, and any change to one half will affect its counterpart. Grievous injuries are not rare, so what happens when a hunter is reduced to a nugget? Ashorak. When a man loses a part of his body, such as an arm or the head being amputated, that section of his soul, the container, is also lost. The soul segment will atrophy over time, losing some part of himself with it, in the most literal sense possible. Older hunters, those who didn't heal their injuries, are often meek and forgetful, like a shadow of their former selves. The changes caused by this loss are determined primarily by mass. Losing 15 fingers will have a profoundly worse effect on a hunter's quality of life than losing a foot, but the spiritual impact will be similar. Need a hand? But not all is lost. Though limbs cannot be regrown through conventional means, there are two ways to save the shape of the soul's container. The first are prosthetic limbs. Wood, metal, bone, any material will do. As long as it is attached firmly, the soul will change to match this new shape. Even the greatest craftsman won't be able to create a flawless replica of the missing body parts, of course. The soul will still change, and the man's temperament with it. Those who can afford the services of an imbuer will want to enchant their limbs too, to regain their lost functionality. For example, Harush was a young hunter with much potential and a long career as a driver ahead of him, until he lost his head. His fellow hunters managed to save his life, but the damage was done. The Avalite can't afford a true head replacement, and he'd rather die than take the head of a beast. The wooden prosthetic on his shoulders carries simple imbuements. The dull sight and hearing they provide are just barely enough to allow him to join the hunt. Some men, like Dorius's faithful in Aldairan, choose to replace their limbs willingly, whether for power, prestige, or even piety. The common man considers this an affront to nature, of course, but the custom never fully disappears. The second option are beast prosthetics. The amputated limbs of a monster can be effortlessly slotted in to replace what was lost. These are a fast fix, and the new limb will be much stronger than the original. Of course, this comes with a cost. The new alien soul clay will mix and clash with the host's own, changing him fundamentally. Drivers also have to contend with being permanently chimerified, the engine's fractured soul clashing with this new alien soul clay. Beastcrafted hunters will have their ego greatly diminished, and many find themselves overtaken by terrible rage or melancholy. Just like with conventional prosthetics, a man's entire body can be replaced like this, piece by piece. The only part that is irreplaceable is the heart, the seat of the soul. Heart prosthetics are added on to the damaged flesh, rather than replacing it, and leave the chest a gaping, bulbous mass of writhing meat. The shame of carrying such an implant is unbearable. Behold, a man! There is no third option. Not exactly. Every generation has to be reminded of this, or learn the hard way. A limb donated from another man, even a twin brother, will turn the unfortunate recipient into a man-eater. This is the natural state of fallen man, a grotesque monster, twice the size of a normal person and ravenously hungry for the flesh of his brothers. Worse, it will be a half-formed man-eater, sometimes called an arm-eater, sprouted from that limb alone. The same applies to beast-man limbs, which will turn the man into a hybrid man-eater, an abomination beyond compare. Damage to the soul is much less common, and caused almost exclusively by supernatural means. Those can be an attack by a spirit, a direct assault on the soul by an imbuer, an imbued beast or enchanted tool, or the price of a pact. The soul cannot be seen by the naked eye. Only shamans and imbuers, gifted with vision, can see it. Some drivers and bonders can use the eyes of their respective beasts to gain spirit vision, and some of those who have been given a divine gift also have it. Enchanted tools and prosthetic eyes, beastly or enchanted, can also grant this vision. Imbuers are those men gifted with the unique ability to directly control their own soul in its rawest form. This can be used in battle like pseudo-channeling, molding the soul clay into wicked shards to slash the enemy's own soul, or a hard shell to protect the user's physical body. It can be fed to spirits in exchange for their service. Over time, missing soul clay can be replenished like blood. This does not mean an aspiring imbuer should trade it cheaply. Overuse can be fatal. He loses himself as he hollows his own soul out, potentially falling into a vegetative state if too little clay is left. Worse, he leaves himself vulnerable for something else to fill the vacuum he created. Compared to lesser spirits, greater spirits are much more dangerous to barter with, and often demand chunks of the soul's container. They may even help themselves to it of their own accord, if the imbuer appears weak. This kind of damage is effectively irreversible, and unlike a missing limb, a peg leg won't staunch the soul's flow. The affected body parts will eventually become paralyzed and begin to wither away, slowly turning hard and gray, until eventually sloughing off or turning into dust. Spirit callers rarely know how to deal with this kind of phenomenon. Not that they can, and are left completely bewildered by this horrifying spectacle. Settlements that encounter these injuries often enough to recognize them will invariably ban greater pacts altogether, leading to this knowledge being lost soon after. The only real way forward is to give up on the affected limbs. The greatest mercy the victim can hope for is a quick amputation. Afterwards, even enchanted prosthetics won't work. Only a Beastcraft will do. In some extreme cases, a lost soul piece can become so fundamental to a person's identity that they will reject any attempt to recover it, even with beast prosthetics. These can be more difficult to heal than any other injury, as the patient must be convinced that they once had another limb. Damage to the soul isn't always clean. Instead of an amputation, the touch of a spirit will sometimes shatter the victim's soul. Like a broken bone, the piece will naturally try to reform itself. If the damage is local or minor, recovery is possible. But catastrophic damage will result in a terrible fate, becoming diffracted. The different pieces of the soul will each attempt to reform independently, creating multiple overlapping selves. Even if it only affects a single body part, the condition will spread like a cancer unless all affected parts are amputated. If it is allowed to reach the heart, the victim will revert to his true, monstrous nature. There is only one exception to these rules. One and only one group in the known world who can rebuild a soul. But we'll talk about the Hailderian grafted men another time.